Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm Mrs. Akande of CTY Group of Schools, Ring Road, Ibadan. So, I'm here to present the SS2 Economics, and the topic is Mathematical Approach to Consumer Theory. We have started this topic last week. Here we are to work examples using the information and the formula given to us last lesson. The information is given here. We are given a utility schedule to complete, and the information therein are the quantity of goods consumed, total utility, and the marginal utility. So the question that follows are: A. We are to complete the above utility schedule. So in this case, you need to bring back the table while you are you want to present the question. Then draw the marginal utility curve. This may not be done here, it will be done when the school resumes, inshallah. Then at what quantity does the marginal utility, but one thing we should know while we are trying to answer B is that we are making use, when the table might have been completed, we are making use of the information we have right there in the table to draw the marginal utility curve. Then at what quantity does the total utility equals marginal utility? Then the next question says, what is the value of marginal utility when total utility reaches the maximum? Then what happens to the value of total utility as the quantity consumed increases? And the last question here says, what happens to the value of marginal utility as the quantity consumed increases? The source of the question is SSC June 1996, if we care to know. So let's look at the solution. Like I've said earlier, we have to bring back the table and complete, because the question says complete. On no condition should you attempt the question without showing the table you've completed according to your calculation. I would like to go straight to the calculation of marginal utility first, because we are using that information there to answer the total utility. The formula for marginal utility says change in total utility all over change in quantity consumed. So at output 2, marginal utility at output 2 will be total utility at 2 minus total utility at 1. According to the table, total utility at 2 is 16 and total utility at 1 is 10. So marginal utility at output 2 therefore will be 16 minus 10, and total utility at output 2, which is C, that we are asked to find, will be equal to 6. And marginal utility at 4 will be equal to total utility at 4 minus total utility at 3. But if we go to the total utility at 3, we are given that value to be 4. So to get the total utility at 3, that will be 16 plus the next product, the additional 4 produced to make 20. So let's go back to total utility now. So total utility at output 3 will be total utility at 2, which is 16, plus the additional 4 under the marginal utility at 3 will give us the total utility at 3, which will be equal to 20. That's why I said we should go to marginal utility column first. So while that one is 20 now, we need to calculate the marginal utility at 4 now. So the marginal utility at 4 therefore will be total utility at 4, which is 22, which is 22 minus total utility at 3. and that will give us 2, which is D that was given. So go back to total utility column. Total utility at output 4. Total utility at output 4 will be the total utility at output 5 minus the total utility, the marginal utility at output 5 as well. And that will be 23 minus 1, which will be equal to 22. That's why we arrive at 22 at output 4 marginal utility. So since the marginal utility at output 6 is 23 and that of output 5 is also 23, and we've said that the formula for finding marginal utility is the change in total utility all over change in the quantity consumed. So total at output 6, now marginal utility will be total utility at 6 minus total utility at 5, which is 23 minus 23, and that will give us 0 as we have here in the table, as we have there in the table. Then the next thing is to draw the graph as the question required. So I said this one will be demonstrated later on the board. Then see Roman figure 1, which says at what quantity does total utility equals marginal utility? Let's go back to the table. At output 0, at output 0, total utility equals 0, so also marginal utility equals 0. At output 1 as well, total utility equals 10 and marginal utility is equal to 10 as well. Therefore, total utility equals marginal utility at output 1, that is 1 unit and 0 unit. 1 unit at 0 unit. Marginal utility reaches maximum level. Then the next question says, what is the value of marginal utility when total utility reaches the maximum? Being we've been able to draw the graph here, we'll be able to, but at least we can use our table as well. And let's go back to the table. Don't forget the question is, what is the value of marginal utility when total utility reaches the maximum? From your table, we can answer this one. So we are considering the marginal utility here. So the marginal utility, according to the information we have here, highest number, the marginal utility highest number is that of 6. That of 6. And it reaches the maximum at -1. It reaches the maximum at -1 if we draw our table. If we draw our table very well, I mean on the graph, this will be reflected on the graph. It reaches the maximum level at -1. Then what happens to the value of total utility as the quantity consumed increases? What happens to the value of total utility as the quantity consumed increases? The value of total utility increases up to a point and begins to decline. I repeat, that happen to the value of total utility when the quantity consumed increases is that total utility increases up to a point and begins to decline. Our graph, if drawn, will demonstrate this better. And the last question says, what happens to the value of marginal utility as the quantity consumed increases? What will happen to marginal utility according to its definition is that its value will diminish. As we have said earlier on in the previous class, that consumption of the successive units of commodity will reduce or diminish the value of total utility. So far so good. This how calculation on consumer theory can be done. So inshallah, the assignment will be posted at the portal under the assignment section. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.